good Sunday morning. It was a beautiful sleep here last night. I think I'm on a Mennonite farm, I'm not sure, but I'm deep in Mennonite country. And you know, surprisingly, there's still snow here in patches in the forest. Not that it's that cold, but there's standing water all around. And I had frogs serenading me last night for the first time. That hasn't happened this year yet. There was also an owl, a very persistent owl, all night long. But it was a beautiful night, and I'm looking forward to another great week. Windy. Rain's coming down sideways. But I got a little bit of sunshine right here. Cheers. Look at that. More kindness. Woman who recognized me from Blind River had seen me there. Saw me now. Pulled over. Offered me a couple slices of pizza. Fantastic. I was just dreaming about pizza and a ginger ale. Her name was Sherry Boyer, I believe. Could have that wrong. She was great. It was nice. So much kindness. So I panicked a little rush. I had to set up the camp real quick. You can hear it's raining. It was raining harder a minute ago. That's my Sunday. Made it to Echo Bay, just west side of Echo Bay. And tomorrow morning I'll head into Sault Ste Marie and spend the day there. All right, cheers. Good Monday morning. So I got up real early this morning. I didn't have enough light to record when I was tearing down camp. And it wasn't much of a location either. I was at just a little picnic stop outside of Echo Bay. But it worked, as always. And now I'm just heading into Sault Ste Marie. It's early. I got an earlier start than normal. I woke up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 5 a.m. and I packed up in the dark, and now I'm out on the road just at dawn. So I'm looking forward to spending the day in Sault Ste Marie, eating well, maybe visiting a craft brewer, and got to get some errands done. All right. That is one gnarly tree. Good Tuesday morning. So I'm walking out of Sault Ste Marie right now, and there's not going to be a lot of footage today because it's a lot of traffic, obviously. This close to the city, and I gotta say, yesterday was cold. This morning is even worse. It's you know, the sky is gray, but it sure feels like it's going to snow any second here. I hope that's not the case. I thought I was done with, you know, these routine snowstorms. So if it does, I'll definitely show you, but there won't be much footage today. Miserable day. It is cold, windy, and I'm walking through a city. Something I'm liking less and less these days. You know, when I'm walking through cities like that, I almost feel like Christopher McCandless from Into the Wild, when he's stuck in LA there and he just feels like a fish out of water. I feel like a fish out of water when I'm walking through cities like that. Not pleasant, you know. And I think there's an offset if you go through a little town like that, where the downtown is interesting and there's a lot of quaint local shops, but that hasn't been the case for most of the towns that I'm going through. And unfortunately, big bucks and, you know, the strip malls that have taken over North America. You know, those gloves have been good to me, but I'm gonna have to do some sewing. So I had deleted my my weather app. Just got frustrated with it. Today, out of curiosity, I checked the weather right now. It is snow flurries, obviously, and -4. It's gonna be -12 tonight. It's the 26th of April. You gotta be kidding me. We got a lot of big old hills coming up. All right, that's it for my Tuesday. Kind of a dull, boring day. Not enjoyable going through the city, unfortunately, and it was a cold, miserable day on the highway. But I'm looking forward to some better weather and some beautiful scenery coming up. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning and it is cold. You can see we got a bit of snow last night. Didn't accumulate too much, but it's cold. I'm looking forward to some sunshine. It looks like a clear day, so hopefully it's going to warm things up real quick. Cold enough that ice formed last night. So my day's looking up already, even though it's still cold. Wearing long johns, long underwear, for the first time in a long time. You know, just a few kilometers after my camp, there's a gas station. I got a coffee and a muffin, and I met a real nice woman named Rochelle. So yeah, day's looking better already. My first views of Lake Superior. At Haviland. I don't know if you were able to pick up the sound there. I'm walking along Lake Superior here, and I can just hear the ice breaking up. It's making a beautiful kind of rumbling sound. So I don't know if I caught it on the GoPro there, but I sure hope so. All right, just to give you a little idea of my frustrations with Google. Last night I'm in my tent and I checked out a Voyageur's general store place further up here. And it was supposed to be 31 kilometers. I thought, that's perfect. I'll hike that today. I might grab a bite to eat tonight and then maybe camp close by and have breakfast in the morning. Perfect, you know, that might be my last opportunity for food until I hit Wawa. But now after walking 20 kilometers, I check Google Maps again. It says it's another 23 kilometers, which makes 43, not 31. So this is a story of Google Maps. So obviously I'm not going to get to eat there tonight, but I'll hope for breakfast tomorrow morning. I'll keep walking and maybe crank out another 15, 12, 15, somewhere in there. And then I'll have a shorter walk into Pachuana tomorrow morning. There's my camp for tonight, and that's Lake Superior right there. Beauty. All right, so that's my Wednesday. It was a better day than it started to be. Sorry, started out very, very cold, miserable, windy, headwind. Yeah, it was not a great day, but as the day progressed, it got better and better. I met some really wonderful people, and just passed a little picnic area with a placard that said that I've hit the midway point, or approximately the midway point on the Trans-Canada Highway from St. John's to Victoria. So it's not quite midway for me because I'm going to be diverting from the Trans-Canada Highway when I get out west. But that's good to know anyway. And I mean, let's keep in mind that I skipped forward quite a bit in Newfoundland and New Brunswick and Quebec. But still, feeling good about myself, feeling good about the distance that I've covered, and I'm feeling like this is good. I got it. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Good morning. Thursday morning here. Got my camp all packed up. It's cold, but not nearly as cold as yesterday. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm only about 6 kilometers from the Voyageur Lodge, which is where I'll have breakfast, and I'll pick up one of their famous fritters. And then there's nothing for me for 5 days, or thereabouts. So, looking forward to it. It's going to be a good day. Blue skies, and it's got to be warmer than yesterday. So I tried sewing up my gloves last night, but the fingertips are just too thin, nothing would hold. I was hoping these gloves were going to last me for the rest of the trip, but apparently not. So I'm going to have to pick some up maybe in Wawa. All right, so I just left Botswana Bay. Beautiful little area right by the water. Some beaches down there by Lake Superior. And I stopped in at the Voyageurs Lodge. I was gonna have breakfast, but like so many things of my journey here, so many incidents, I guess you could say. The restaurant was closed for the season, opens tomorrow. So missed it by a day. But anyway, I was able to get some apple fritters. I had one there. Oh, it was so good, warm, right out of the deep fryer. Lots of grease, lots of sugar, but it was good. And I've got one for either later today or breakfast tomorrow. Now I'm heading north, and I don't have any services for 160 kilometers until I reach Wawa. And by services, I mean there's no gas stations. There won't be anywhere to get some food. But I'm good. I'm stocked up with food. I've got a week's worth at least, and I'll be there probably in 5 days. So northward we go. So you can see how beautiful this little beach is here, even with the ice. I'm really tempted to pack it in and set up camp right here. It would be an ideal spot for me, but it's just too early in the day. For some reason today I don't have much for energy, and my feet are aching more than usual. But I'll power on. I'll walk another couple hours and hope for another beautiful little beach like this to set up camp. So that's camp for the night. I'm exhausted. I don't know why. Just no energy today, but that's it for tonight. I'm gonna wake up looking out here tomorrow morning. Good Friday morning. As you can see, it's going to be a gorgeous day again. I slept like a baby last night. I really needed that. I feel good. My feet are feeling good again. I just have to remember not to take them for granted. I've been spoiled with my feet, and last night when I took my socks off, I noticed a couple of raw spots that had actually started bleeding, one on either foot. Good news is I'm not in that much pain. And it was just a little discomfort while I was walking, so I just have to remember not to take them for granted, because I need them. All right, let's get on with another Friday. It's going to be a great one. World famous apple fritter. Now, put things in perspective, the size of this thing. Breakfast of Champions, and beautiful location. So although the scenery is gorgeous around here, I'm loving it. You know, I get glimpses of the lake every once in a while, lots of big rocky cliffs and trees and wildlife. I've seen a couple of moose this morning. You know, other than that though, it's kind of it's a little bit dull and these days, where I'm not going through any towns or seeing people or anything like that. All I'm doing is walking, and I mean, it's good. I'm looking forward to the peace and quiet, but I'm also looking forward to a little civilization again too. Just as yesterday, I'm not nearly as energetic as I usually am, and I think part of the reason is my feet are just getting a little more beat up than usual. Maybe I'm pushing it a little too hard and not giving them enough of a rest. So I might take a rest day when I get to Wawa. If I feel the way I do today, I definitely will. Unless I get in there real early on Tuesday morning, then I'll just call that my rest day. All right, that's my Friday. Camp's all set up. I am pooped, I'm knackered, and I'm ready to climb into my sleeping bag and listen to a podcast, go to sleep. It's not that late, but I'm really wiped. My feet are done. I've abused them a little bit too much these last couple of days, week especially, walking through Sault Ste Marie on the concrete, and then long days, and yeah, they are in need of some attention. And today was a tough one. A lot of big old hills. You're right, Dave, especially coming out of Montreal River Harbor. That was a long uphill. But that's my Friday. Off to better tomorrow. Good Saturday morning. There's my camp. You can see it's a little windy up here, and just a little ways up the hill is a wind farm. Some turbines going. I'm going to be passing those shortly. Slept well, but it's cold and windy up here. Obviously, we're at a high point. I'm looking forward to Saturday, getting another day down. That's the wind farm I could see from my camp. It was windier this morning, obviously, because they were moving. And they are now, but very slowly. You know, I wanted to mention those crazy cranes that I videotaped last night. That weird noise that they make. They were doing that all night long. And it wasn't just those two, it was many of them up there. So I don't know if it was a breeding ground up there or what was going on. And I'm not sure what kind of cranes they are. I'm gonna ask my brother Bob. He knows everything about birds, so he'll be able to tell me. But yeah, they kept me up, which is weird. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. If you're wondering why I didn't sing that song, it's because I don't know it. I've never seen Mr. Rogers once in my life as a kid, Canadian. And when I grew up, we had Mr. Dress Up, Chez Hélène, and the Friendly Giant. That was it. You know, as I'm walking along, I often think about the people I'd met walking my Caminos. Camino de Santiago. I've done 2 different routes there. My first one was in 2011. I walked from Seville up to Santiago, and then to the coast, to Finisterre and Murcia. And you know, and that first trip was all new to me. This was before the movie came out. The way it wasn't a busy place at all. We'd only see a few people each day. You know, it was a wonderful experience for me, very positive. But about my second weekend, I happened to be walking most days with three Spanish young women, and we met an old guy in one of the hostels, 75-year-old retired veterinarian from Saskatoon, of all places. I grew up in Yorkton, so it was serendipitous. And his name was Larry Green. I never forget Larry. He had some of the most interesting quotes and sayings and expressions, and he came across as a little bit grumpy because he was deaf. He wore hearing aids, but even with his hearing aids, he couldn't hear much. And I think he came off as grumpy to a lot of people, but he wasn't. He was, yeah, he was a warm-hearted guy, good sense of humor, a lot of fun. But the story that makes me smile most about Larry is one night after we had left those 3 Spanish girls, they got back on a train and went home. Just the 2 of us were walking. We walked the entire trip together after that point, right into Santiago. And at one hostel, I should back that up a bit and tell you, Larry had a habit of eating a giant chocolate bar, usually a Milka bar. If you're from Europe, you know a Milka. He would eat one of those almost every day in bed before he went to sleep. And you know, one hostel we stayed at, the next morning the two of us were walking out, and Larry was a little frazzled. He was a little outside of himself, and I asked what was going on, what was wrong, Larry. So he explained to me that he had taken the chocolate bar to bed, and it seemed like it was gone in no time. Couldn't find it. Went to sleep, and the next morning he woke up and the entire bar had been under his sleeping bag and had melted. Obviously he couldn't get it off, so he just took off and left it there like that. So yes, Larry, if you're watching, I'll tell you, the staff at that hostel still thinks you shit the bed. So anyway, I think about Larry often, and we've lost touch, unfortunately. I've tried hunting him down. You know, if he's still as fit as he was 11 years ago, I'm sure he's still out hiking and doing all kinds of things, even at 86. But Larry, if you're watching, or if you're someone who knows Larry Green, retired vet from Saskatoon, get in touch with me. I'd love to connect with Larry again. It's a red letter day on the trip. First day I'm wearing short pants. So I'm sitting here, look out above Agua Bay, and it is spectacular, but lookout also means big climb, which is what I've had to do to get up here. But as always, climb's always worth it, right? I think I'd like to camp right there tonight. There you go. I've set up camp for the night. Can't complain about this one. I do live a pretty charmed life. And just out of curiosity, that's the point I was looking at right there. That little island there, or peninsula, whatever it was. That's the point that I was mentioning up top of the hill. So I'm pretty darn close to where I had said I would. That's my Saturday. That's my week. It was a fantastic week. Feet gave me a little bit of troubles, but nothing I can really complain about. And you know, although it was a cold and miserable start to the week and I didn't enjoy walking through the city, this is the way it's turned out, and I can't complain. It's fantastic. So I know I've been promising to show you how I set up camp and my food situation, all that kind of stuff. I promise I'll do that next week before the black flies become too much of an issue out here. And until next week, goodbye from the shores of beautiful Lake Superior.